Hello, everybody, and welcome to the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you crypto news, insights, analysis, and my commentary from all around the world of crypto and blockchain. Welcome. This is Jamil Hassan. This is episode 57, season 3, episode 17. After today, we have 3 more episodes of season 3. And this has been remarkable in the days for the week is ending. Today is September 15. And the news is from this week. And generally and usually, I bring you news from all around the world. And I bring you global and Asia and Europe and Australia and Africa and Middle East. Today is rather U.S. centric. Half the things we're going to talk about are U.S. But that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of cool stuff going on. And the first thing that is cool that went on when it started to kick off the show today talking about it is Hong Kong, but this is not a Hong Kong particular thing. It's Hong Kong has retained its top crypto ready position for 2 consecutive years. Okay. There's a report. Hong Kong was crowned the best prepared jurisdiction for widespread crypto adoption in 2023. Well, 2023 is almost running out. It's September already. Retaining its crypto readiness prowess for the second year in a row. A study factoring in the existence and reach of crypto via ATMs, businesses, accessibility, legality, and all that cool, jazzy stuff, revealed stiff competition among the 2022 leaders as Hong Kong, the US, and Switzerland held on to the top 3 positions. Interesting. So the number 1 is Hong Kong. Number 2 is Switzerland. Number 3, US. 4 is Georgia, not Georgia the state, but Georgia the country. Then Slovenia, Canada, Australia, Germany, Bulgaria, Panama, Romania, followed by Portugal, Netherlands, Slovakia, Austria, United Kingdom, Czech Republic, Estonia, Lithuania, and Singapore, all places where I have great, fabulous, amazing listeners. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. And this readiness survey, while Hong Kong grabbed the top spot, the U.S. fell down to 3rd. They keep falling as long as Gensler does his thing at the SEC and they have overreach. You're going to keep falling. But factors such as crypto ATM installations, pro crypto regulations, startup culture, and a fair tax regime contribute to a country's score. Slovenia, Canada, and Australia managed to squeeze into the top 10 in 2023. New countries. So they're the new countries. And they are, some countries have fallen out, Netherlands fell out of the top 10. But Estonia, Singapore, and Switzerland are among the busiest hubs for crypto and blockchain companies. They should be. One of the primary drivers that can make or break crypto mass adoption is taxes. They have favorable taxes. There are 12 countries that have zero tax. Zero. For crypto individuals. These include Germany, Panama, and Portugal, among others. Thank you for doing the study, by the way. Cool. So you can catch that if you want in more depth detail. You can catch it. Where can we catch that at? Chain analysis study. It's a great one. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts on what you think about the study. And then we're going to go to the U.S. and we're going to talk about many things. The first one is my favorite one. XRP lawyer John Deaton joins the library case as amicus curiae. Lawyer John Deaton, who represents numerous XRP token holders in the Ripple Securities Exchange Commission lawsuit, has formally submitted his notice of appearance as an amicus curiae in the library lawsuit. According to a letter to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, Deaton has officially submitted his notice of appearance on behalf of Amicus Curiae Naomi Brockwell. Referring to a submission, Deaton said in a post, win, lose, or draw, we will be in this fight. Notably, Brockwell, who serves as the founder of Crypto Law, a platform dedicated to offering insights and updates on legal and regulatory developments related to cryptocurrencies in the U.S. in collaboration with Deaton. This lawyer is known. Deaton is known for his advocacy for rights of crypto investors and his active engagements in legal proceedings and discussions surrounding cryptocurrency regulations and legal actions. I'm so happy that Jeremy Kauffman and his team at Library are going after the SEC now for their overstep and overreach. This was a great platform for creators before we had a overreach and corruption and all that stuff. On September 7, Library filed a notice of appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, seeking to challenge the final judgment entered on July 11 that ordered Library pay a civil penalty and barred it from participating in unregistering offerings of crypto asset securities in the future. The New Hampshire District of the New Hampshire Court issued that final judgment, but we're challenging that final judgment. I wish Jeremy Kauffman and Library all the best and hope you win. All right, let me know your thoughts. Hopefully they win, right? But let's go to another fun time. This is a fun one, too. Former Celsius executive pleads guilty, because they are, to criminal charges. Cool. Roni Cohen Pavan, Celsius former chief revenue officer, has pleaded guilty to 4 criminal charges and will be free on bail until a December 11 hearing. He has pled guilty to charges of fraud and price manipulation. According to a filing this week, Wednesday, in the U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York, Cohen Pavan pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit price manipulation, securities fraud, manipulation of security prices, and wire fraud. He will be free, like I said, on bail. Okay. Reuters reported the guilty plea was part of an agreement with prosecutors requiring Cohen Pavan to make restitution to parties affected by the collapse of Celsius. Former CEO Alex Mashinsky allegedly made roughly $42 million in profits from the sale of Celsius, token by artificially inflating the price, while Cohen Pavan earned roughly $3.6 million. Yeah. The U.S. Justice Department announced charges against Mashinsky. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Mashinsky for a second. What he did this week also made news. Okay. He made headlines this week. And what was his headlines? Let's see. Where is it? Okay. So he wants to dismiss the FTC case. Former Celsius CEO Mashinsky wants, what he wants. Founder and former CEO filed a motion in court seeking the dismissal of the U.S. Federal Trade Commission case against him in its entirety. Delusions of criminals. Let's see. The legal counsel for the former Celsius boss argued that allegations against their client do not support the claim that he knowingly made a misstatement to fraudulently obtain customer information from a financial institution. According to the lawyers, the accusations do not meet the standards for a claim under the Graham-Leach-Billy Act. This 1999 law requires knowingly making false claims to collect customer information fraudulently from the financial institutions. No, he didn't make statements to. Maybe he might not have made statements to get money from financial institutions. He certainly said things to retail investors. Certainly said things to retail investors that just weren't true. But some institutions, even though they might be retail investors, might also be financial institutions. So, the FTC issued a $4.7 billion fine against Celsius Network in July. and filed a lawsuit against the Celsius founder, along with Celsius co-founders Shlomi Daniel Leon and Hanuk Goldstein. Okay. Goldstein's lawyers claim that the FTC seems to be basing its case against Goldstein solely on the fact that he retweeted a blog post by Celsius. According to Goldstein, this behavior is being misconstrued as a sign of complicity or participation in the alleged misconduct. Celsius was one of the largest crypto lending platforms, headed by Mashinsky, before it imploded in 2022. The founder resigned, and he's facing multiple charges of criminal fraud because, well, that's what he committed. Mashinsky has pleaded not guilty to multiple charges filed against him and is out on bail on a $40 million bond. Okay. Well, I got 2 words for you, and those 2 words are Gen Pop. Okay, let's move on to Stoner Cats. Stoner Cats NFTs are fan crowdfunding, not securities, says SEC's Pierce and Ueda. The U.S. SEC, back in hot water again, always in hot water for doing the wrong thing. I find it interesting that, the man Garganso taught a class on blockchain ethics at the University of MIT and had no idea what blockchain ethics actually are. How do you teach a class when you don't know what something is? I'm baffled by that, but let's see what Hester Pierce says. Their decision to charge non-fungible token project Stoner Cats sparked feedback from commissioners Hester Pierce and Mark Oyeda, arguing that the project's activity constitutes fan crowdfunding, which they believe is common for artists. On September 13, the SEC charged Stoner Cats 2 LLC, the firm behind the animated series Stoner Cats, with conducting an unregistered crypto securities offering using NFTs. Stoner Cats 2 LLC agreed to a cease and desist order and other measures imposed by the commission. Making its case, the SEC argued that the NFTs were marketed by the company as having potential for secondary sales and implied that their value would rise. In addition, the SEC pointed out that the company receives 2.5% royalty on every secondary sale. The SEC highlighted the company sold over 10,000 NFTs for $800 each, while the proceeds used to fund the series. Furthermore, there were at least 10,000 secondary sales worth over $20 million, according to the SEC. I write books. I'm an author. I would love to have secondary sales. I would love people to buy my books. I'm a creator. If I'm an artist and I paint stuff, or if I sculpt the stuff, or I make stuff, I most definitely want people to buy what I created. It's called commerce. Commerce is not illegal. What's illegal is the overreaching authority that is not actual an authority and actually has no authority whatsoever. That is called a criminal rogue organization branch of the U.S. government that needs to be shut down. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. So let's talk about another criminal case because criminal cases are in the news today, and we got to talk about fun. Court approved sale of FTX digital assets, up to $3.4 billion worth, to be unleashed. I don't know if it's going to be unleashed at once. According to some people, really smart people, these kind of wind downs will mostly be over the counter and mostly take a lot of time to happen. The Delaware Bankruptcy Court has approved the sale of FTX digital assets. Judge John Dorsey made the ruling at a hearing on Wednesday. Major changes were made to the draft order authorizing the sale of the previous day. Who cares? FTX will be allowed to sell digital assets, excluding Bitcoin, Ether, and certain insider affiliated tokens in weekly batches through an investment advisor under pre-established guidelines. There will be limits of $50 million for the first week and $100 million in subsequent weeks. There will be an option to increase the limit with prior written approval of the creditors committee and ad hoc committee, or to raise the limit to $200 million weekly with the approval of the court. Okay. Bitcoin, Ether, and insider affiliated tokens can be sold through a separate decision by FTX after 10 days notice to the committees and the U.S. trustee. The U.S. trustee is appointed by the U.S. Department of Justice. Let me know how this is going to go. My thoughts are that it's going to wind down slowly. It's only $100 million a week. Yeah, $3.4 billion. So it's going to be a while. But then you got to find buyers. It's going to be over the counter. Who's going to buy? But insider, that's interesting. That there's insider tokens. I noticed that. Yeah. So a lot of influencers got insider tokens. Who didn't? Me. I didn't. I wasn't in early on any of this stuff. A lot of other podcasters were. So once prices dip down to a certain level, I'm certainly going to buy, but I want to buy at the same price that the VCs were granted. So I'm just going to wait. And that's how I see it. But let's talk about something else. Petition hopes to stop U.S. government agencies from using chain analysis forensics. Whoa. Okay, that's a big deal. All right, that's a big deal. A petition was created on change.org this past Tuesday to oppose the use of chain analysis forensic services by federal agencies. The petition questioned chain analysis accuracy and raised legal questions and issues related to the activities of the blockchain data analysis firm. The petition, started by Stop Chainalysis, stated that Chainalysis software assists crime prevention efforts by linking the real world to crypto payments. It stated, it is our belief that the use of non-scientifically proven software and alleged inaccurate methodologies to implicate individuals in the occurrence of crimes puts the people's right to financial privacy at risk. The petition claimed that Chainalysis findings do not meet the Daubert standard for expert testimony in the U.S. courts established by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1933, that its error rate is unknown, that it has not been subject to peer review, and that it uses potentially faulty methodology. What I've seen over the years is Chainalysis work with the government to capture some really bad people, including child rings, really bad stuff around the world. Chainalysis has caught, and working with the governments in different jurisdictions, has caught criminals, and so Chainalysis, is not subjective, it is objective. And that this change.org, for some reason, I would check their motives. I would see why they don't think it works and really dig in to what the thought is and the motives are behind the fact that they don't want to look at objective information and they want to look at things that existed 90 years ago when we didn't have data. I would look at that. So, so take your position and, Anyway, so XRP people, the Ripple CEO says U.S. is the only country crypto startups should avoid. Brad Garlinghouse, right? He said the U.S. is one of, if not the worst, place to launch a cryptocurrency startup in the world right now, according to Brad, whose firm is in a legal battle with the U.S. securities regulator, the overstepping, overarching, overreaching FAW regulator. The only country in the world I would not encourage you to start a company right now is in the U.S., Garlinghouse said on September 12 panel I took in 2049 in Singapore. That was a great conference. There's one amazing, awesome conference this past week, and that was Token 2049 in Singapore. A lot of great insight came out of there. I saw some of the videos on social media, some of the snippets, and it looked like a really amazing event. So so Token 2049 in Singapore. Check it out if you can. The Ripple boss, Garlinghouse, wants the U.S. to take note from the likes of Singapore, the U.K., and the UAE, and Switzerland by enacting policies that encourage crypto innovation while protecting consumers. Garlinghouse pointed the blame at the SEC, claiming it was engaging in a political war with the industry with its lawsuits. That is true. Let me know your thoughts on what Garlinghouse said, and hopefully we can do something about that. During the next election, we could do something about that, and then talking of elections, we have one last thing from the Congress. Representative Tom Emmer reintroduces the anti-CBDC bill to Congress. Legislation aimed at preventing unelected bureaucrats, Gensler, for example, in Washington from issuing a central bank digital currency has been reintroduced by Representative Tom Emmer. On September 12th, Emmer and 49 original co-sponsors revived the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act in the U.S. House of Representatives in a bid they claim to protect Americans' right to financial privacy. The administration has made it clear President Biden is willing to compromise the American people's right to financial privacy for surveillance-style CBDC. He says, that's why I'm reintroducing my landmark legislation to put a check on unelected bureaucrats, Gensler, and ensure that U.S. digital currency policy upholds our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, now, guess what? We're done with the U.S. We can move on. We're going to go across the pond. We're going to go across the pond to Europe. The EU announces initiative to fast-track supercomputer access for AI startups. The European Union President Ursula von der Leyen announced a new initiative to give artificial intelligence startups expedited access to European supercomputers. The announcement came during the president's 2023 EU State of the Union address on September 13. She said, in introducing the topic of AI, von der Leyen invoked an open letter sent by members of the global AI community calling for increased regulatory scrutiny of the potential for extinction from AI. She says, AI is a general technology that is accessible, powerful, and adaptable for a vast range of uses, both civilian and military, and it is moving faster than even its developers anticipated. So we have a narrowing window of opportunity to guide this technology responsibly. Let me know what you think about that. The president called for the assemblage of a new global framework for AI built on 3 pillars: guardrails, governance, and guiding innovation. All I know is that I published my latest book yesterday, and it's available on Amazon. And Amazon now asks people if their content is AI generated. Well, mine is not. Mine comes through podcasts, and I convert those podcasts into books. So they have a long-lasting effect, and they're here forever. So, that's what I do, and all my content is unique and original, and I can see why they want to track, what they call, I guess, is cheating. But luckily, we don't have to worry about that. Crypto Hipster brings you the news each week on Friday, and then I bring you original podcasts with amazing guests all around the world. And I have 2 this weekend. That's enough plugging about me. I'm not shilling my book to you. I'm telling you about the EU Parliament. And the EU Parliament votes overwhelmingly in support of the DAC8 crypto tax reporting rule. Let's check that rule. Lawmakers in the EU Parliament voted overwhelmingly in support of the 8th iteration of the Directive on Administrative Cooperation, DAC8, a cryptocurrency tax reporting rule, in a plenary session this past week on September 13, Wednesday, held in Strasbourg, France. The session reportedly saw DAC8 receive overwhelming support in the form of 535 member votes for and just 57 against. The measure received 60 abstentions. According to the EU documents, DAC8 is meant to empower tax collectors with the authority to track and assess all cryptocurrency transactions conducted by organizations or individuals within the member states. Boo. Actually, you know what? That might be good. I don't know. They want to prevent tax fraud and evasion instead of raising your taxes. What they say. Let me know how this is actually going to play out. Yeah. So, and I'm interested to see how it does. Let's go to Asia. Okay. There's no Middle East today. There's no Africa today. There's no Australia today, but we're going to go to Asia. Hong Kong. We talked about them early. We're back. Hong Kong politician responds to Vitalik's comments about crypto friendliness. All right. Apparently, let's see. Johnny Nung Ing, a member of Legislative Council of Hong Kong, took to social media early this morning in response to Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin about Hong Kong's future friendliness towards cryptocurrencies. Ing said he sincerely invites Buterin to visit Hong Kong to better understand the region. Additionally, he said he would coordinate with relevant institutions and enterprises to share the situation in Hong Kong. Buterin made comments during the Web3 Transition Summit in Singapore. I don't know if that's part of Singapore 2049, but amazing conference. On September 14th, in which he said, I don't understand Hong Kong well. I understand even less the complicated interaction between Hong Kong and the mainland lately. If any crypto project wants to make Hong Kong their home, they would want to have some confidence, not just that it's friendly now, he said, but that it will continue to be friendly years from now when all kinds of unknown regulatory and political and other kinds of events are going to happen. Yep. Hong Kong is friendly now, he said, and how stable is the level of friendliness? But, apparently from what I've seen and the people I've talked to in Hong Kong, it's an amazing hub. It's an amazing place to be. There's a lot of innovation, a lot of growth, and they're regulation friendly, and they're doing it the right way. So I think the U.S. can learn a lot from what's going on in Hong Kong. Okay, North Korea. Let's see, North Korea. Hacks have been down 80%, but Chainalysis said that could happen overnight. Let's see. Cryptocurrency stolen by North Korea linked hackers is down a whopping 80% from 2022, but a blockchain forensic firm, Chainalysis, said it isn't necessarily a sign of progress. North Korea linked hackers had stolen a total of 340 million worth of crypto, down from 1.6 billion last year. Okay, it's down. And of course the market's down. The fact that this year's numbers are down is not necessarily an indicator of improved security or reduced criminal activity, Chainalysis said. We must remember that 2022 set a dismally high benchmark. Well, that's because your criminals weren't in North Korea. They were in the U.S. They were, at Celsius, at FTX, at other places, so they weren't in North Korea. But over the past 10 days, North Korea's Lazarus Group has been linked to two separate hacks. Stake for 40 million, Coinex for 55 million this last couple of weeks. With this latest hacks, North Korea linked attacks have made up about 30% of all crypto funds stolen this year. So yeah, mixed results. But guess what? They're using data, and your change.org is against the use of data? I don't know how that's going to fly. Chainalysis uses good data, and you can't argue with the facts. South Korea. Bitcoin lender Delio plans to sue regulators. Okay. South Korean Bitcoin lender Delio is reportedly preparing for an administrative lawsuit against regulators for the wrong interpretation of the law, leading to an investigation and a hefty fine against the crypto lending firm. Delio said the allegations of fraud and embezzlement levied by the Financial Service Committee, FSC, are baseless, according to a report published in Local Daily. The crypto lender claimed that the regulator applied the law reasonably in a situation where, or unreasonably, in a situation where there were no clear regulations for virtual asset deposit and management products. The report revealed that the Financial Intelligence Unit recommended the dismissal of Delio CEO Jong Sang-ho. Through a sanctions announcement, Delio claimed that this was a clear indication that the financial authorities were putting pressure on Delio to close down the business rather than giving it a chance to revive. That sounds so familiar. We talked about Library earlier. So familiar, not just in South Korea, but all over. And hopefully we can change that in the next year and a half, 2 years. And when Bitcoin ETF gets approved and the prices wobble up to what, I don't even think wobble is a word, but boost up, jump up, spike up, whatever you call it, to amazing, unforeseen levels before. Thailand. Thailand, the final resting place of this show. Thai authorities arrest 5 in a 3,200 victim, $27 million crypto scam. Authorities in Thailand arrested 5 foreign nationals linked with a fraudulent crypto investment platform that fleeced over 27 million from local investors. According to an initial report from the Bangkok Post, Thailand's Cybercrime Investigation Bureau arrested 4 individuals from China and 1 from Laos for orchestrating a fraudulent investment scheme that duped more than 3,200 locals. The CCIB began investigating the operation with the assistance of the U.S. Homeland Security Investigations and other international law enforcement agencies after affected investors came forward in late 2022, claiming they had lost investments made through the BCH Global Ltd.com. The 5 accused were arrested and charged with colluding to commit transnational crime, public fraud, and money laundering. Yeah. Well, let me know what you think about the news this week. I don't create the news, I just report it to you. Of course, I comment on it. Hopefully, you enjoy my commentary, and hopefully, you enjoyed this week's episode of The X Factor with the Crypto Hipster. Enjoy the week. See you next Friday and each and every Friday. And check out my brand new 2 Crypto Hipster podcast episodes brought to you this weekend. Enjoy.